Okay, so we're back here once again with the Wheel of Names. I actually had to re-add. I didn't realize I hadn't added. I thought I added this. This is the Cabby, which is basically just a reskin of the minivan. But I'm going to add it anyway because it does not exist in GTA 5. So, without further ado, let's spin the wheel and see what we get. Oh. Of course I got the car I just added back to the wheel. Of course I did. Alright, the Schyster Cabbie. Let's go. 2005 Schyster Cabbie. The last in a long line of public transit vehicles in the GTA series. While its previous generations were spelt with a IE instead of a Y at the end, they are still part of this vehicle's great legacy. I'm going to try to do an attempt to make a parody of Feel Good Inc. by Gorillaz. Do 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 Cabbie do 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 Cabbie do 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 Cabbie do 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 do. Yeah, that's pretty bland, but as I always say, it sounded better in my head. 2005 Schyster Cabbie. One of the most recognizable vehicles you'll find in Algonquin. In fact, it only spawns in that particular borough of Liberty City. At first, I thought it was simply a reskinned version of the Vapid minivan, but I quickly found out I was wrong. The Cabbie has existed for many years in the GTA series. Its debut game was GTA 3. The Cabbie back then resembled a 1970s or 1980s checker taxi, a car so well known, just a quick glance and you could probably pick it out pretty easily. It was also featured in almost all of the 3D Universe games, and was also well known for having specialized versions for completing the taxi side missions. The first specialized version of the Cabbie was in GTA 3 and was called a Bourgogne, which is painted red and had bloody spikes on the front bumpers. The name itself is a reference to Ernest Borgnine, who played a role as a taxi cab driver in John Carpenter's film Escape from New York. And what did Ernest drive? A checker taxi. Also, funnily enough, his role was credited as Cabby in the film. I guess he doesn't really have a name, he just called him that in the film. I never watched Escape from New York, so I don't know.
Where you going, buddy? Bad neighborhood, Snake. You don't want to be walking from the Bowery to 42nd Street at night. I've been driving a Cabby for 30 years, and I'm telling you, you don't walk around here at night. Yes, sir. It'll kill you and strip you in 10 seconds flat. Usually, I'm not down around here myself, but I wanted to catch that show. This stuff is like gold around here, you know. It's like gold.
The second special variant was featured in GTA Vice City and was called the Zebra Cab, which you can probably tell for obvious reasons. Just like the Bourgogne, it had improved performance and handling. The last one, of course, is the Kaufman Cab, which is owned by Kaufman Cabs. It's one of the businesses you can acquire in Vice City, and you can do a bunch of side missions for them in the game. And it's basically just a reskin version of their standard Cabbie. It has the exact same performance, it just has a slightly different model than the regular Cabbie. So there you go. Naturally, the modern Cabbie is much different than the Cabbie of old. It now resembles a 4th generation Dodge Caravan. The 4th generation was offered in both a standard short wheelbase model, which was the standard Caravan, and the long wheelbase model known as the Grand Caravan. I didn't know that until today, actually. Interesting. The 4th generation was produced in North America from 2000 until 2007, and was featured with several engine options. Funnily enough, Dodge still offered a 4-cylinder engine with these vans, which on paper sounds pretty depressing. The 2.4 liter EDC 4-banger made only 150 horsepower and 167 pound-feet of torque. The other two engines on offer was a 3.3 and 3.8 liter V6, the latter making roughly 215 horsepower and 245 pound-feet of torque. If you opted for the 4-cylinder engine, I'm sorry to say, you only got a 3-speed automatic. All other models, of course, were offered with a 4-speed, however. The Caravan was offered in both front-wheel drive and all-wheel drive on some models. Now, on to the Cabby. Just like the Vapid minivan I reviewed a couple years ago, I had deduced that it had a V6 rather than a V8 as the model shown here, due to the 24V badging indicating the car had 24 valves, meaning it had 4 valves per cylinder. The Cabby here lacks that 24V badging on the car, and also still retains its V8 model. Now, according to the wiki, the Cabby is a little bit slower than the minivan. So this might make me think that it does have a V6, just maybe not as high as displacement as the minivan's engine. I also mentioned in my GTA 5 review of the minivan that it had all-wheel drive. Now, in GTA 4, both the minivan and the Cabby have rear-wheel drive. While the Cabby is slower than the minivan, it does make up for it with improved handling due to the improved suspension, which has been upgraded to cope with the rougher roads of Algonquin. It also has a shorter stopping distance, and power is transferred to a 5-speed gearbox as opposed to the 4-speed on the minivan. But what makes the Cabby different from the minivan? Well, I decided to do a comparison test in these next couple clips here to show you how it's different. Let's start with the obvious, the paint job. The Cabby is your typical yellow paint job like every other taxi in Liberty, but the Cabby sports what appears to be unpainted or black painted bumpers, which I do like. It features a standard taxi light on the roof like any other taxi, but unlike its Stanier and Merit cousins, does not have any variation with a advert sign on the roof. I'm assuming this is so the height of the car doesn't get too high. On the rear of the car, we can see similar badging to the minivan, which suggests that Vapid designed the Cabby for taxi use, or perhaps it's like some kind of subsidiary of Vapid like Ford and Mercury. Unlike the minivan, which sports 5-spoked, star-shaped alloy wheels, the minivan sports wheels more akin to the old alloy wheels found on the old CB7 Honda Accord from the early 90s. The Cabby also features side steps that run along the bottom of the car for ease of entry, although I've discovered this is kind of like a variation of the Cabby and it's not found in all Cabbies in Liberty City. It also features front and rear bash guards and a redesigned front bumper to accommodate it as well. Also, unlike the minivan, only the last row of side windows are tinted, while the last 2 rows on the minivan are. Other than that, it's standard taxi stuff like lights, stickers, etc. Well, there you have it. 2005 Schyster Cabby. Designed by Vapid and used by Vapid people. Huh? Because Vapid is like meaningless and, you know, it's a joke. Yeah, that's all I wrote for the script apparently. I got tired towards the end yesterday when I was writing it, so I kind of just stopped. But there you have it. The Schyster was a very interesting beast. It's still a minivan, but it's different, which I'm really glad that they didn't just reskin it, honestly. Because it would have felt lazy. So I'm really glad that Rockstar kind of took a little more thought into like, we need to redesign our car to look more like it's been an actual taxi. So I do appreciate that. And it's pretty good. So anyway, that's pretty much it for this video. Yeah. I actually have some stuff I want to show you at the end of the video. Like I recorded after I got all the clips, so I'll probably just show that now at the end of the video probably. So enjoy. Red and had bloody spikes on the front bumpers. Some guys doing like turbo lag shit outside. Jesus Christ, that took forever. Why did that take so long? Thanks, guys. I appreciate your help. It only took like 30 minutes. Jesus.